that will give you the information about possible propagation windows available to you to make a contact somewhere else in the world. So when you open up the default page, it will have a map on the upper left-hand reliability graph. That says use the 24-hour prediction wheel. Please click on that link, Rob, and let me know when you're on the page with a circular chart to the right of the map.
Victor Alpha 7, Foxtrot Tango, and the group. This is 2 Hotel Sierra 6874. Just quickly, good evening, everyone. Tim, I have scrolled down on the right-hand side of the page, and I do have the pinwheel display showing. A microphone back to you.
Fine business. I'm going to ask you to do some stuff here, Rob, and for the stations that have never opened the page before, you will notice that there are 2 markers on the map itself. One is red in color, and the other is blue in color. The red one is the transmitting site, and the blue one is the receiving site. And the default will have it on either side of Africa. So I'm going to ask Rob to scroll down the page a little bit and look in the center column, and at the top of it, it says transmitter site, and it has a red marker above it, and go down to the second box that with the word name beside it, and I'm going to ask him to put in his grid square, Echo Mike 60, Mike Juliet. Let me know when you've entered that information.
Entered Echo Mike 60, Mike Juliet, and I have done that, Tim. Over.
Sort of caution for anybody that's using this page. Do not press your enter button, but beside that box is a button that has Lima Oscar Charlie, space, Charlie Alpha Lima Kilo, Charlie, and that is the button that you press with your mouse to actually infuse that information onto the web page. When you do that, Rob, the red marker should move to the western portion of Florida. So please press the localc button and let me know if the red marker has moved to your location.
I have pressed the location button, Tim, and yes, the red marker has relocated to northwest Florida. Over.
Well, thank you kindly. Okay, so the next thing you want to do is, if you know the grid square of the person that you would like to try and make a contact with, then you can put their grid square in the opposing block for the receiver site in the name block. And my grid square is Charlie November 88 Delta Juliet. So Rob, if you could enter that information into the name box in the receiver block and then press the localc button, you should see that the blue marker moves to British Columbia. Let me know when you're done, sir.
Okay, I have entered Charlie November 88 Delta Juliet, and I've pushed the location button, and yes, the blue marker has moved to British Columbia. Over.
Well, thank you kindly. Well, we're almost there. If you look now underneath the grid squares in both blocks, you will see that information about the latitude and longitude has been filled in for both stations. And you may have to reach up on the map with your mouse and grab anywhere but on one of those markers and move the map a little bit to the left or right to actually see both markers on the map. Now we're going to change the antennas for both the transmitter and the receiver antenna. I would like you to pick a 5-element Yagi at 30 meters or 99 feet for both. Please let me know when you've done that, sir.
Okay, I have reset both the transmitter and the receive antennas to the 5-element Yagi at 30 meters in height, and so that has been done. Tim, over.
For the benefit of the people, it should be the next block down in the transmitter site talks about TX power. It should default to 100 watts. If it isn't at 100 watts, please make sure it is. And the button or the next level is the TX mode. It may be at CW, which is for Morse code. We want to make sure that is on SSB, Sierra Sierra Bravo. So if it is not, please change it to SSB.
Are now set at 100 watts, and the mode is single sideband. Over.
Okay, for the benefit of the listeners, the chart that we're going to look at in a minute is going to be different if it's selected to CW. You will have a much better propagation for the continuous wave or Morse code than you would have normally for voice operation or single sideband. Now, just to confirm that his map and my map are the same, I'm going to ask him to look directly underneath the map, and there's a column that says 2RX going left to right, and there should be a number, 3 numbers in a row. So can you tell me what the first number is in the box? Is it 3690 kilometers?
That is correct. I am showing 3690 kilometers. Over.
Okay, the next come over is going to give the figure in miles. And can you tell me that number, please?
Mile reading is 2,293 miles. Over.
Okay, and the last number I'm going to ask him to give is the direction that you would point your antenna to make the contact with that person. So for you, Rob, what direction does it say to point your antenna to make the contact with me?
My bearing 313. Again, 313. Over.
QSL, 313. And for the benefit of the people listening, my bearing for Rob is 109 degrees. Now, if you want to see what the person that you're trying to talk to, say they don't have the lookup box and they're not sure which way to point their antenna, underneath the SSD in the transmitter site, you'll see a button that says Specials beside it, and it says Swap TX RX. If you click that once, it will now tell you the direction that the station you're trying to talk to should point their antenna to talk to you. If you press it again, it will now go back to your direction to point the antenna. So that's basically the setup on how to get the information in the right boxes for the VOACAP. And now I'm going to ask that you scroll up to the top of the page, and we're going to look at the circular chart or the 24-hour prediction wheel, and you'll see it's got a bunch of pretty colors in there. Would that be a Roger?
I do see the wheel, and it does show various colors throughout the wheel. Over.
Okay, and for the benefit of the people listening, the wheel itself has got various colors, from no color at all in the squares to a dark red color, which represents 100%. And they vary from white, blue, light greens, yellows, oranges, and up to red for the varying percentages. And if you look at the outer portion of the wheel, at the very top is 0 hour UTC, midnight. And as you go clockwise, it's got a 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way back to the 0. And that is the time stamp that you could use. So right now it is 0126. And if you look, Rob, I would like you to tell me what your percentage to make a contact with me would be on 20 meters at 0100 hours. So to do that, Rob, you would take your mouse cursor and put it over the box in the 1 o'clock column and hold it over the 20 meter band. Then look in the center of the wheel and you will see it says 1 UT. It'll say 20M and it'll give a percentage. Can you tell me what that percentage is, please?
I have it under 1 UTC time, and on 20 meters at 1 UTC time, I am showing a 45% probability on the 20 meter band. Over.
We probably have just a little less than 50-50 chance of making a contact, and mine says 39%. We advise, ladies and gentlemen, that depending on which way the propagation is going, that number could be different for you as it is for the other person that pointed their antenna towards yourself. So as you can see, there's a difference of about 6%. So the propagation for Rob is better in my direction, coming towards me, than mine is going towards him. Okay, Rob, please tell me what your percentage is at 1500 hours on 10 meters.
At 15 meters, 0% probability, no chance whatsoever. Over.
Oh, and if you notice, the square is white in color, so that should give you an indication that there's no possible way to make a contact at 1500 hours UTC with my location on 10 meters, and probably also on 12 meters. We'll just give one more example. Let's look at 6 UTC and tell me what you would get on 80 meters, please.
At 6 UTC time, a very, very excellent propagation on 80 meters, 98% probability. Over.
Proves that you have better propagation than I did. When I put my cursor over top of that square, I get 93%. So in essence, ladies and gentlemen, depending on the antennas that you pick for yourself as a transmitter station and the antenna that you pick for the receiving station, obviously it's going to make a difference in the colors. So, Rob, I'm going to ask you to do one thing. I'm going to ask you to change the receiver antenna to a dipole, please.
So I changed the receive antenna. The antenna I selected is a quarter wave vertical antenna.
Okay, fine business. Quarter wave vertical antenna. I've picked the same. Now, Rob, when you look at the 24-hour prediction wheel, do you see any red at all?
Yes. Quickly, let me do a change, Tim. Hold on. Stand by, please.
Maybe prediction wheel didn't update. Ladies and gentlemen, on mine, there is no red whatsoever. None whatsoever. The best I would have would be at 2,300 hours on 20 meters. I can give you the exact percentage, but it should be around 80%. So we change antennas. You'll notice that the prediction wheel's colors will change, and smaller the antenna that you go, obviously the less chance you would have of making a contact. So, in essence, that's how VOACAP works. To give you an idea at what time you could make a contact, an area that you picked on the planet, and also what bands that you might be able to make the contact based on the antenna choices that you've made for the transmitter and receiver site. Now, you don't have to actually put in an actual grid square for the receiver site. For example, you could move the blue marker anywhere on the map, i.e., I'm going to ask Rob to move his blue marker to, say, the middle of France, and then he can let us know what the chances are of him making a contact into France at this time on what band would be the best for him. So can you please do that at this time?
Okay. First of all, I did notice the colors when using the dipole antenna between my location and yours. The propagation definitely went way down using the dipole antenna. Just to quickly, using the dipole antenna for the receive end, I am looking at the wheel right now, and the best propagation I have would be 40 meters, starting at 1 UTC time and going all the way to 8 UTC time, pointed right in the center of France, QSL.
Okay, fine business. So that gives you the idea that you could talk to France in between those times on that particular band. So that's basically the presentation, ladies and gentlemen. Just a basic understanding on how to enter the information and your possibilities for antenna choices. And then you can look at the wheel and decide whether or not you have a chance to make a contact with a station in a certain country or a certain area of the world based on the colors that you see. And by moving your mouse cursor over top of the boxes, if you look in the center of the circular chart, it actually gives you the information for percentages. Are there any questions, please? Thank you very much to Hotel Sierra 6874 for helping me out, and I hope it was of some benefit to all the stations listening.